Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Iron Sheik 84, and I am going to do 203 pulls in the new Silver League 19 loot. Just as a heads up, this is probably going to be my one and only pull in the Silver League 19. I didn't see anything in there that's going to be too... I don't know. I guess I don't know what the right way to put it, but basically I didn't see anything in there that just was like, wow, I have to have this, and I have literally every single character in there. I've gotten a bunch of fuses from the previous leagues, or if they've been the free chase character, I already have them at 4-star gold. So this is gonna, like I said, gonna be probably a one and done for me, and I'll save up for whenever League 20 comes out. But yeah. And then I also wanted to make mention, I will be, since this is a ton of pulls, I'm going to put out like this normal video to where like if you want to watch the whole thing with commentary, you can. Or what I'll do is I'll do like a screen record and do it at 3x. So that way you can kind of get through it a lot faster if you want to watch it. But basically, there's going to be two versions of this that are going to be the exact same. Just one's going to be normal speed, one's going to be 3 times the speed. All right. So, kind of going off of memory here, but this would be a fuse for me. That'll be a fuse for me. This would be a fuse. That would be a fuse. That would be a fuse. That would be a fuse. I believe this would be a fuse. I don't remember what I have Eddie at. And these might be fuses just because there would be star fills. Just FYI. But going through this, yeah. So that would be a fuse, that would be a fuse, this would be a fuse. I think I have Steamboat, and I think I have these at 4-star gold. I'm not 100% sure. Brett would be a fuse, this would be a fuse, that would be a fuse, that would be a fuse, I think. Well, actually, yeah, no, it won't be. Goldberg would be a fuse, I think, and... I think Brett's, but everybody else here, I already pulled their fuses a long time ago. So like I said, it's either going to be star fills or the 5 stars are going to be the fuses for me. But regardless, let's give it a shot. Got my auto clicker going, got some tunes, and let's go. 203 pulls to do. So the first and last pull that I'm going to be doing in League 19 is going to be 50 shards of Sika, 20 shards of IRS, and a 5-star fuse for X-Pac, which is great for this month's MLC. We got 1,200 shards of Cactus Jack. We got 20 shards of Finn Balor. There's the fuse for AJ Styles. There's the fuse for Eddie. We got 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 1,200 shards of Rick Rude. 20 shards of Sika. 200 shards of Kane. We got 50 shards of AJ Styles. We got 200 shards of Jinder Mahal. And we got the 5-star fuse for Sasha Banks. Alright, 1,200 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of Eddie. Got 400 shards of Steamboat. Yeah, it's not 200, it's 400. Alright, 2,000 shards of Asuka. We got 1,200 shards of Rick Rude. 50 shards of Eddie. 1,200 shards of Asuka. Got 20 shards of Wendy Richter. 50 shards of Eddie. It seems to be the prevalent one so far. Got 200 shards of Goldberg. 20 shards of AJ Styles. 50 shards of Psycho Sid. 50 shards of X-Pac. 200 shards of Jinder Mahal. 800 shards of Cactus Jack. Got 100 shards of Ken Shamrock. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. Got 50 shards of Eddie. Another 50 shards of Eddie. 1,200 shards of Booker T. Got 50 shards of AJ. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock yet again. 1,200 shards of Sasha Banks. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. 1,200 shards of Booker T. 50 shards of AJ Styles. 1,200 shards of Rick Rude. Another 1,200 shards of Rick Rude. Just what I needed. Got 50 shards of AJ. Got 50 shards of X-Pac. Another 50 shards of AJ. Got 50 shards of Psycho Sid. We got 20 shards of Sika. Got 50 shards of Psycho Sid. 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 1,200 shards of Asuka. 50 shards of AJ. 1,200 shards of the lovely Sasha Banks. Alright, 1,200 shards of Typhoon. 20 shards of Shamrock. 50 shards of AJ. Another 50 shards of AJ. Yeah. Fuse. That's Starfall for Nakamura, like I said. There we go. 100 shards of Eddie. Got 50 shards of AJ Styles. Another 1,200 shards of Booker T. 20 shards of Eddie. Got 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 1,200 shards of Booker T. 800 shards of Cactus Jack. We got 50 shards of AJ. 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero yet again. Like I said, the most prevalent one so far. We got 20 shards of Finn Balor. 1,200 shards of Asuka. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. 50 shards of Eddie. 1,200 shards of Booker T. Got 50 shards of Eddie. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. 400 shards of DDP. Got 20 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 50 shards of AJ. 50 shards of Psycho Sid. Another 50 of AJ. 400 shards of Steamboat. 50 shards of X-Pac. 1200 shards of Asuka. Got 50 shards of Psycho Sid. 50 shards of X-Pac. 20 shards of Pete Dunne. Got 200 shards of Bret Hart. Starting to wonder why I didn't bring my cup of coffee with me. We got 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of X-Pac. 1200 shards of Shinsuke Nakamura. Or King Nakamura if you want to be more specific. Got 20 shards of Psycho Sid. 1200 shards of Booker T. There you go, Starfill for Powerhouse Booker. Got 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 20 shards of Finn Balor. 50 shards of AJ Styles. 20 shards of the other AJ Styles. 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. Got 50 shards of Tech AJ. 50 shards of Eddie. We got 800 shards of Rick Rude. 50 shards of Sika. 800 shards of Rick Rude. Damn, 100 to go. We got 50 shards of Sika. 400 shards of Steamboat. 1200 shards of Booker T. 1200 more shards of Booker T. 50 shards of Sika. Got 50 shards of Ken Shamrock. 800 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 800 shards of Rick Rude. 1200 shards of Booker T. Got 800 shards, or 400 shards of Booker T. 50 shards of Eddie. 800 shards of Rick Rude. Got 400 shards of DDP. Got 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of Sika. 50 shards of Psycho Sid. He went away for a little bit. Got 400 shards of Booker T. We got 400 more shards of Booker T. We got 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero. 50 shards of Sika. We got 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of AJ Styles. 100 shards of X-Pac. 400 shards of Booker T. 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of Sika. 200 shards of Kalisto. Hey, there we go. 4-star gold fuse for Bret Hart. We got 800 shards of Cactus Jack. Got 50 shards of Eddie Guerrero. Got 800 shards for Cactus Jack. 400 shards of Steamboat. 800 shards of AJ Styles. 1200 shards of Sasha Banks. 20 shards of Wendy Richter. 800 shards of Typhoon. 50 shards of AJ Styles. 1200 shards of Asuka. 50 shards of X-Pac. 400 shards of Harlem Heat Booker. 50 shards of Sika. 400 shards of Booker T. 800 shards of King Nakamura. 400 shards of Steamboat. 50 shards of AJ. 50 shards of Shamrock. 400 shards of Booker T. 1200 shards of Sika. 50 shards of Shamrock. 50 shards of X-Pac. 100 shards of Eddie. 50 shards of Psycho Sid. 50 shards of AJ Styles. 200 shards of Kane. 400 shards of Steamboat. 50 shards of Eddie. 200 shards of Goldberg. 800 shards of Cactus Jack. 50 shards of Eddie. Or no, not Eddie. AJ. 50 shards of Shamrock. 50 shards of Shamrock again. Got 20 shards of Finn Balor. We got 1200 shards of Psycho Sid. 50 shards of AJ. 1200 more shards of Psycho Sid. 800 shards of Rick Rude. 1200 shards of Sika. 800 shards of Sika. I think I'm going to be more than fine to max him out of 5-star silver now. 200 shards of Kane. 50 shards of Eddie. 50 more shards of Eddie. 400 shards of Booker T. 50 shards of AJ. 800 shards of Ken Shamrock. 800 shards of King Nakamura. 1200 shards of Asuka. 50 shards of AJ. 200 shards of Kane. 800 shards of Sid. Got 400 shards of Harlem Heat Booker. Got 20 shards of Pete Dunne. 100 shards of X-Pac. 50 shards of Eddie. Another 50 shards of Eddie. 800 shards of Sika. 1,200 shards of Asuka. 50 shards of X-Pac. 800 shards of Bret Hart. We got 800 shards of King Nakamura, and thank God we're down to the final 10. Whew. 800 shards of Sasha Banks. We got 800 shards of Sasha Banks. We got 800 shards of X-Pac. 50 shards of AJ Styles. 50 shards of AJ Styles. Got 50 shards of AJ Styles. 50 shards of Eddie. 800 shards of Ken Shamrock. 50 shards of AJ, and my very last pull is going to be 400 shards of Ricky Steamboat. Alright. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so I got the star fills for these. That's a fuse up. That's a fuse up. That's a fuse up. These are fuse up. So there you go. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fuses out of that. Can't complain. I got plenty of shards ready when I can move them up because they give them out, you know, as in prizes and shard chests fairly often, but there you go. Like I said, I'm more than covered. I was good before I even walked into this, but I'm more than covered to max them out of 5-star silver. Just taking a look at some of the numbers here. I'm more interested in seeing 11,000 on Wendy Richter here. 24,000 on Kane. 20,000 on Goldberg. 27,000 on Kalisto. There we go. These are the ones that I was interested in. 47,000 for Booker T. 17,000 for Steamboat. 47,000 for Cactus Jack. 37,000 for Rick Rude. 36,000 for Asuka. It's kind of nuts, but yeah. Overall, can't complain. Xbox probably going to be the only one that I'm going to be more immediately moving up because of the fact that he's going to be one of the required characters in this month's MLC, and then I'll probably just save these for the flash feuds to get some extra points for my teammates. And as I always say, whether the character is good or bad, any day that you get a new character or fuse is a great day because, hey, that's free points for me, right? And all those shards are going to be used towards that. Well, I appreciate everybody who actually watched the whole 23-minute video of this. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on Twitch at IronSheik84 for more WWE Champions action. And with that, have a wonderful day and best of luck if you're in League 19. Bye-bye.